and happy Wednesday. Thank you so much for tuning in and for choosing to spend some of your time with me. I'm Maria Milagros Vazquez, an empowerment speaker, trainer, and life coach. And I love to come on here and share little tips and tools and nuggets that hopefully, when implemented, might help you find new levels of health and happiness. And I say hopefully and might because what works for me or what works for some of my clients might not necessarily work for you. But the only way to find out is to put it into practice, right? I can tell you on this personal growth and development journey, there have been many things that I have tried, and I give them the old college try, anywhere from 2 weeks to a month to more, and then really try to tweak it to make it fit what works for me in my life. And sometimes it doesn't at all, and I just got to get rid of it and find something else that works better, right? There's this great quote by Bruce Lee, and he says, absorb what is useful, discard what is useless, add what is essentially your own. And that's really the practice of personal growth and development. That's the practice of healing. That is the practice of self-awareness. That's the practice of finding new levels of health and happiness. They all begin with this understanding that we are unique, amazing, incredible beings. And so what works for someone else might not work for us. So pay attention to what feels good and peaceful and brings more ease and next levels of freedom, health, happiness, fun, joy, love, right? And then what doesn't, let it go. It's not for you. That's okay. Not all things can fit all bodies. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so we are currently in a video series where I am sharing one tip a week and then some little subsequent tips to help us get to new levels of health and happiness. This week, I want to talk about being assertive. This could be potentially a 2-hour workshop. I'm going to try to cram it into 7 minutes or less. So if you have questions, please, by all means, hit me up. And if you want more information about any of the sub tips, let me know and I can make another video for you, right? Okay, so if you grew up in the United States, or if you went to high school in the United States, or if you ever watched a teen bopper movie with cheerleaders in the United States, you probably heard the cheer, be aggressive, be aggressive, be aggressive, right? Of course you have. So sorry to put that in your head. I hope it doesn't play over and over all day. But I was aggressive. When I was a teenager, I was very aggressive. I was very hurt. I was suffering. I was reliving and dealing with depression and the abuses from my childhood. And so I felt like I needed to be aggressive in order to be heard. I felt like in my passivity, things happened to me that had I been aggressive would not have happened. That's what I convinced myself. So I went from this end of the spectrum when I was being victimized to this end of the spectrum where I was fighting everybody, right? To the degree that I ended up having to do court-mandated anger management as a teenager because it got to that point where I was just all the time aggressive, fighting, yelling, screaming, demeaning, degrading with the intent, let me be very clear, of hurting other people because I was hurting and I wanted other people to feel what I was feeling, or at least close. Misery loves company. And I didn't know how to love in that space because I did not know that I was deserving and worthy of loving myself. Never mind, what had happened in my childhood really gave me this story that I was unlovable, right? That I was not deserving and worthy. So it was through anger management, through therapy, through all the coaching and the classes and my education and the decision over and over and over, day in and day out, to be done with that way of living, that I was able to go from this end of the spectrum, which was full-on aggression, back to center. And in the center is what we call assertiveness, right? So over here we have passivity and over here we have aggression. Living at either ends of the spectrum is really, really stressful. And anything that is stressful is bad for you emotionally, mentally, and physically because it takes a toll on your mind and your body. Literally, it takes a toll on your mental health and it takes a toll on your immune system, right? So when we do the work to move to move the needle 1 degree at a time and find our way back to center, we find new levels of health and happiness. And I want to be very clear about this. Assertive people are less stressed. Yes, they are less stressed because they don't put off things and they don't leave things unresolved. That kind of like lingering, perseverating on, creating stories around, dialogues just increases more stress. And then that increases subsequent problems, mental problems, emotional problems, and physical problems. The other good thing about learning how to come back to center and be assertive is that It increases your self-confidence. By being assertive, you recognize, and it's like a circle, right? You know that you're not better than anybody and you're not worse than anybody. You are deserving and worthy. And so you ask for what you need and you hone those skills, and it kind of does this, right? Over and over and over again. Or maybe you hone those skills and then you're reminded that you're not better than anybody or worse than anybody. And then it pushes you to hone those skills because it reminds you of your deserved worthiness, right? So in knowing that, it increases our self-confidence. It's an amazing leadership skill to have in any arena of life, relationships, and work. And it helps us ask for what we need, which is really important. A lot of people don't have the skills or don't know how to ask for what they need, and that feels really stressful, right? So here are a couple of things that we can do to help increase our ability and our skill to be assertive. The first thing is you got to believe in yourself. Like I said, you are not better than anyone else and you are not worse than anyone else. You are equally deserving and worthy as every other human on this planet. The chance of you being here is 1 in 400 quadrillion. Of 8 billion people on the planet, you are the only one of you that ever has been, ever is, and ever will be, which means you are deserving and worthy, as is every other human on the planet, right? The second thing that we want to do is make sure that we're setting those healthy boundaries. If you want a little help with that, I made a previous video about setting boundaries. You can check that out, or actually I'll post it at the end of this video. And then from that place of believing yourself and setting boundaries, we say no when we mean no. We say yes when we mean yes. We learn how to leave emotion out as much as possible because emotion makes us reactive. And what we want to do is respond in a compassionate and loving way, just because it's not just better for the dynamic of the relationship. It's better for them on the receiving end, but it's also better for us, because if we're not carrying the weight of it passively or roaring at them aggressively, it's better for us in terms of our stress levels and our mental, emotional, and physical health, right? We can also, from that place, ask more clarifying questions rather than make assumptions about what we think someone is or isn't saying. Ask them, what did you mean when you said blah? Right? And then when we want something or when we have a request, we can do so in a more simplified and direct way without having to talk in 900 circles and say, no, because da 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 da, or yes, but da 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 da. Just yes and no, clean and simple. Here's the direct reason, right? And then in doing that, we learn how to stand our ground. And that's, for me, was the most important thing, was learning how to hold the line and really stand my ground. So if you benefited from this, if you know someone who can benefit from it, please go ahead and share it. If you haven't already, subscribe to my channel, and you can get one of these videos in your inbox, every week, especially on Wednesdays. Also, get into the comment section and let me know, what works for you in terms of practicing your assertion? Is that something that you practice? Have you ever practiced it before? And then how did it make you feel, or anything else related? Let's talk about and unpack this. And if you have any questions on anything that I mentioned and you want to know more, let me know. Either send me a message or put it in the comments, and that could be the video for next week, and we'll just make this a two-parter, right? So I hope that this was beneficial for you. If you like it, hit the thumbs up. If you don't, hit the thumbs down. That's cool. It doesn't affect me that way. I love you so much. There's nothing you could do about it. And you are deserving and worthy of standing up for yourself and asking for what you need, because you are amazing and incredible, and the only one of you that ever has been, ever is, and ever will be. That's all I got for this week. I'll talk to you soon. Peace.